My name is Mike Cassidy, and here this afternoon we're on the south side of beautiful Prince Edward Island. Well, you know, we've left the shores of Prince Edward Island, and perhaps we're 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet from the shore, but now we're standing Cassidy Farms and our first ever Haskap field in Hampton, PEI. I know what you're saying. What did he just say? Because 2 years ago when somebody said, have you ever heard about the Haskap plant? I didn't even understand what they were saying. But H-A-S-K-A-P is a Haskap berry. It's a perennial plant originating from Japan and Russia. A very, very hardy plant, tremendous for our cold winters and frosts. And we have planted 10,500 Haskap plants in this 10-acre field. It is the start of our commercial operation. Again, when I was speaking about rotation of crops, soil erosion, how can we have covered fields year in and year out? And when you look behind me, you see the beautiful rows of Haskap. They're 2-year-old plants. To mature fully, it takes 5 years. So what you see in the rows right now, these plants will be 4 feet high, 5 feet, or 6 feet high, depending upon the variety in the row. But notice that I have the matting down for weed control. The plants are 3 feet apart. The rows are 1,000 feet long, so just over 300 plants per row. But notice the grass and pasture land in between the rows. This is what I mean by covered. So there is no soil erosion. There's no crop rotation. And this Haskap berry is a health berry. In Japan, they would be translated, Haskap is the berry of long life. The antioxidants of a Haskap berry could be 3 to 4 times higher than that of a blueberry. It's on a plant, it's on a high bush. The color of the Haskap berry is very close to the blue color of a blueberry. But the Haskap berry is much more elongated, and its texture, its skin, is fragile, not as dense, not as thick as a blueberry. So I try to give the example, you put a Haskap berry in your mouth and it almost melts on your tongue before you swallow. But if you want to have a smoothie, if you want to have a fresh berry on your porridge or your cereal, if you got a sweet tooth and you love to have a Haskap crisp, maybe add a few strawberries in with your crisp, or make your Haskap muffins, we have a berry for you. And this year was our 2nd year of our plant growth. And the average yield of a 5-year-old Haskap plant is 5 pounds per plant. So you can imagine, you're looking at a berry that's just over 2 grams. You can get 5 pounds off the plant, and you're looking at a wholesale price of roughly $5 a pound. So in 5 years' time, one plant could be producing over $25 revenue. Very, very little in the way of investment as far as equipment goes. It's not like a potato crop. So do we have a crop? It's healthy, there's a market, it protects our soil, it protects our land, and anybody who wants to get into farming and perhaps cannot afford 1,500 or 2,000 acres, can we encourage young farmers who have an interest in the land, interest in being part of Prince Edward Island's landscape, be able to farm and have a life? And this is what we're hoping to do, to develop a business model that we can suggest with Haskap. It can give you a living, and you can be part of what I call part of the soil, part of the PEI fabric. Because when you stand here, you feel different than being in a city landscape. So do we have respect for the land? Do we have crops that there's a market for? Can we allow farming to flourish on a small scale? Because I don't think we should ever lose the thought process that to be small is okay. And to be small, you can farm. We can. Sustainable farming is here today and it's going to be here tomorrow. Yes, we need large farms. We need full-scale farming operations, but we can't lose sight of sustainable farming operations. And that's what we're hoping to promote and gather business data. Like anything else, when it comes to coastal erosion, you need data to make decisions. If you're going to farm a different crop, you need the data to make your decisions. And we're going to be able to provide that data for anybody who wants to grow Haskap on PEI. Well, definitely being a new Haskap farmer, and you have a new crop. And the nice thing about Haskap is we are the first plant to bloom in early May. Our harvest comes before any berry between the July the 8th and July the 15th with our harvest. But this year, when you have time and effort and money invested in agriculture, you look at your plants daily, there is no rain, you get concerned. And definitely we feel this year the size of our berry and the yield of our berry the yield was down, the berry was smaller than normal because there was a lack of water. Now, what we have done since the harvest, part of Van Kampen's operation where you see us in Charlottetown with the greenhouses and we grow the plants we sell and we grow tomatoes, we have what we call a slow drip irrigation hose throughout our greenhouses. And it just goes drip, drip, drip of water over our plants. So what we have done, we have installed that same type of slow drip, very low volume water irrigation, but we can now, next year, be able to give our plants a necessary drink when Mother Nature doesn't do so. Because definitely life needs water. And this year we saw the lack of water, and definitely, like any other crop, the less water you do have to worry about size and yield. When it comes to being able to have growth, and you can start off in your fields and you can always say, what is your pH content? How much lime should you have in a field? But any plant scientist will tell you, when you're putting plants like this in a row and you want them to be there for 30 years, the first thing, they need soil nutrients. And if you want to make sure you do not add any type of pesticides or herbicide or chemicals, the first thing we said, we want to do compost. And we had 2 or 3 different types of compost that we have experimented with, but our plants were put into the island soil and we have compost. The next observation we made, and many people on Prince Edward Island know the sea algae, the sea lettuce in our rivers and our bays and our tributaries on Prince Edward Island. We have a terrible problem with the sea lettuce. We have the smell. We have a situation where the sea lettuce is in the waterways. It kills the oxygen. It kills the plant life. It kills the fish life. So what we've done through the University of Prince Edward Island and the PEI Climate Lab, we have taken that sea lettuce out of the tributaries and waterways of Prince Edward Island. We have extracted it down to a liquid. And through a different level of extraction, when it comes to pressure and temperature and time, we have developed a tremendous plant fertilizer, what we call a plant biostimulant. And we see when we add this natural liquid sea lettuce that our plants actually respond to this type of product. So it's compost right now, and it's sea lettuce as we try to give the food nutrients and of course the slow drip irrigation to give the plants a drink when they need it.